Hey guys, I'm Danielle and this is Bookara, and today you are watching the Growing Up Reading book tag. This tag was originally created by my dear friend Chaz over at Bookish Chaz. There are 3 parts to this tag. First, you share some books that either were or are childhood favorites, books that influenced you as a child and maybe even influenced who you became as a person. So you share those books. There's not any certain number that you need to share. Just share what feels right. And then secondly, in this tag, you have a chance to promote a children's book that you've become more familiar with in recent years. So be sure to stay tuned to the end of my video where I will have a clip from my friend and author, Hallie Christensen, about her book. And then thirdly, you will tag some friends to do this tag as well. So the first book I want to share is I Know an Old Lady by Rose Bond, illustrated by Abner Graboff, copyright 1961. This book kind of builds on itself, and it starts like this. I know an old lady who swallowed a fly. I don't know why she swallowed a fly. I guess she'll die. I know an old lady who swallowed a spider that wriggled and tickled inside her. She swallowed the spider to catch the fly, but I don't know why she swallowed the fly. I guess she'll die. I know an old lady who swallowed a bird. Now, how absurd to swallow a bird. She swallowed the bird to catch the spider that wriggled and tickled inside her. She swallowed the spider to catch the fly, but I don't know why she swallowed the fly. I guess she'll die. And it goes on. The lady also swallows a cat, a dog, a goat, a cow, and a horse. She's dead, of course. I found it interesting that some of these older books said things like that. I guess she'll die, or she's dead, of course, or there was something just maybe a little bit morbid about them. I don't think you'll find that in current children's books. The next book I would like to share is The Napping House. This is written by Audrey Wood and illustrated by Don Wood. It won an award. This is the New York Times Best Illustrated Children's Book Award, and I'll show you some of the pictures here in just a minute. Now, this book and I Know an Old Lady are both what I would consider cumulative rhymes, and in the front dust jacket of this book, it kind of explains what those are. It says they're reassuring. They soothe and amuse us and stay with us throughout our lives. So that didn't really explain what they are, but in my mind, it's kind of a rhyme that builds upon itself. And so when you're a kid and you can kind of predict what's going to happen next, that is really helpful in helping you to feel confident as a reader. So let me read a little bit of The Napping House to you. There is a house, a napping house, where everyone is sleeping. And in that house, there is a bed, a cozy bed in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. And on that bed, there is a granny, a snoring granny on a cozy bed in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. And on that granny, there is a child, a dreaming child on a snoring granny on a cozy bed in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. And so very much like I Know an Old Lady, it builds upon itself. There's a child, then there's a dog, and then there's a cat. And then there's a mouse. And then there's a flea. And the flea sends everyone a-flying. Here's a picture of the cat being startled, the cat and the dog being startled, and then so on. And what I loved about this book as a kid is that if you look back in every one of the pictures, you can find the flea. So that was a lot of fun. And then Granny wakes up. I've fast forwarded a little bit here. Granny wakes up, she breaks the bed, and then it says, in a napping house where now no one is sleeping. I love this book so much. And I wanted to say too, really quickly, that this tag did bring me a lot of joy because I had forgotten about some of these books, and just holding them in my hands, reading them again, or finding them on Internet Archive and reading them again, it just created a feeling, like all throughout my being. And I was instantly like my kid self again. And it was just really, really wonderful. So I just want to put in a plug for this tag. It's really, really therapeutic, you guys. So next we also have Piggies by Audrey and Don Wood. This book and The Napping House are by the same husband and wife. Also, these books are both published by Harcourt Brace Jovanovich. I don't think it's called that anymore, but I will say that my mom used to work for this publishing company, and so I have, there were quite a few of these books by this publisher that were just really prominent for me. I think I was really lucky in that way. So this one is really just more about the illustrations. So here we've got two fat little piggies, two smart little piggies, two long little piggies, two silly little piggies, two wee little piggies. And then they go through the different seasons. They're hot, they're cold, they're clean, they're dirty, they're good, but not at bedtime. They skip down my tummy and dance on my toes. And then I line them up for two fat kisses, two smart kisses, two long kisses, two silly kisses, and two wee kisses. Good night. So cute. Next we have an oldie but a goodie. This is The Boy, the Cat, and the Magic Fiddle by Tamara Kitt. Pictures by William Russell. Copyright 1964, and this is an easy reader book. So basically this story is about a boy who lives with an old woodcutter. And one day the woodcutter basically abandons him and says, "Hey, I'm leaving. I may or may not be back, but here I'm going to give you these 3 items for luck." So he leaves the boy with a one-eyed cat, a fiddle, and an axe. So the cat and the boy set off on an adventure. And throughout this adventure, the cat uses his magic fiddle to help them. I think the part of the story that stands out the most to me in my memory, and rightly so, the boy and the cat encounter a 3-headed dragon. The cat decides that he's going to play his fiddle to put the 3-headed dragon to sleep. And while the dragon is asleep, the boy uses his axe to chop off the heads of the 3-headed dragon. Graphic, right? So anyway, then the boy and the cat, they go to the king and they say, "Hey, where's our gold that you promised us?" And the king's like, "What gold?" Even though he was completely terrified of this dragon and willing to do anything to be rid of it. So the king, instead of giving them their gold, locks them in jail. The cat plays a song on the fiddle, the jailer cries, they get out of jail, and they live happily ever after. There's not like a whole lot of sense to it, but I think it was really kind of cool to see this kind of book where I think it was like 198 words that were used, the root word were used over and over to help early readers become familiar with those and be able to read this book on their own. So super cool. And I don't know if I already mentioned this, but this was one of those books that was definitely my mom's before it was read to me. So thank you, Mom. Next we have Harry the Dirty Dog by Jean Zion. Pictures by Margaret Boyd Graham. Copyright 1956. So you guys are probably familiar with Harry the Dirty Dog. If not, Harry is a white dog with black spots that does not like to have a bath. And so one day he takes and he digs a hole in the backyard and he puts his scrub brush that his people use to give him a bath in that hole. And then he takes off and he has an adventure all about the town and basically finds every way that he can to get dirty. So when Harry comes back home, he's filthy and he's a black dog with white spots and his family doesn't recognize him. So he goes in the yard, gets the brush, and takes it up to the family. And they're like, "Oh, this doggy wants a bath." And so they give Harry a bath, and as they're washing him, he turns back into his white dog with black spots. And they're like, "Oh, it's Harry." And so anyway, Harry's very happy to be back home and very happy that his family recognize him again. And at the very end of the book, we have Harry. "It was wonderful to be home. After dinner, Harry fell asleep in his favorite place, happily dreaming of how much fun it had been getting dirty. He slept so soundly, he didn't even feel the scrubbing brush he'd hidden under his pillow." I don't think Harry changed his ways. Next we have Richard Scarry's Best Mother Goose Ever. This is a collection of nursery rhymes. Yes. And the copyrights I found in this book were 1970 and 1964. I adore these Richard Scarry illustrations, and I marked some of the nursery rhymes that might be familiar to you. We've got, "There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children she didn't know what to do. Hey diddle diddle. Peter, Peter, pumpkin eater. One to buckle my shoe. Mistress Mary, quite contrary, and little Miss Muffet." And we have, "This little pig went to market." Next we have I Went Walking by Sue Williams, illustrated by Julie Vivas, published in 1996. I think this was another Harcourt published book. "I went walking. What did you see? I saw a black cat looking at me." And we keep going. Same question. "I went walking. What did you see? I also saw a brown horse, a red cow, a green duck, a pink pig, a yellow dog." And then at the end of the story, the child turns around and, there's the question again. "I went walking. What did you see? I saw a lot of animals following me." And again, this is one where, as a child, when you become familiar with the story, you can help tell it. And especially the illustrations help with that too. So "I went walking, what did you see?" You see a picture of a green duck and the child can shout out, "I saw a green duck." So it's very exciting. The 8th book I'm going to share today is The Berenstain Bears' Trouble at School, and this is by Stan and Jan Berenstain, copyright 1986. And inside the front cover, there's a little poem. It says, "When a problem at school is kept secret too long, it can grow till a cub thinks that everything's wrong." And this story is about Brother Bear. He is sick and has to miss school. And so he's home and, he's kind of got the sniffles, but he's just really living it up. He's watching his favorite TV shows. He's playing with his dinosaurs. And when he gets his homework folder that he's supposed to be working on so he doesn't fall behind in school, he's too busy for all that. So Brother Bear gets back to school. He has completely missed this lesson on division. Cousin Freddie has taken his spot on the soccer team. Everything is kind of just falling apart. He takes a math quiz and completely bombs it. His quiz requires a parent signature now. So he skips school and winds up at Gramps and Gran's house. And I love these books because there's a message and it's not subtle. It's like, you're not going to miss this, okay? So he's taking a walk with Gramps through the swamp, through the bog. They come across this wagon that Gramps had got stuck when he was younger because he didn't just turn back around. He kept pressing on. And he says, "Well, instead of admitting my mistake and backing up, I just pushed ahead until I was in so deep there was no getting out. But I learned a valuable lesson. If you find yourself on the wrong road, don't just keep going until you're in over your head. Back up and start over on the right road. So, Gramps takes brother home. They talk to mom and dad. Mom takes brother back to school, and I even think she has a little lesson for him. Brother says, "Where are we going?" "To school," Mama said as they got in the car. "But it's so late," protested brother. It's never too late to correct a mistake. So we've just got these lessons right in your face, and I kind of love it. These last couple do not require a whole lot of explanation because I think you're all going to be very familiar with them. We have Charlie and the Chocolate Factory by Roald Dahl. The illustrations, okay, so the copyright for the text is 1964. The illustrations by Alfred A. Knopf are 1973. And yeah, I feel like you guys are familiar with this story, with the movie adaptations. This is one that I can go back to again and again and again. I never get tired of it. If I am slumping, this is where I go. This is definitely a comfort read for me to this day. And then the last book I want to share that is a favorite of mine is Charlotte's Web by E.B. White, pictures by Garth Williams, and I neglected to put a copyright, so I will include that on the screen. Again, you guys are very familiar with this story. It's the story of Wilbur and a spider named Charlotte. And Wilbur is going to be butchered, except Charlotte saves him by writing messages in her web. And obviously, there's more to that story, but that's the gist of it. I did realize as I was compiling this list of books that the evidence that I am an animal lover was there very, very early on. So those are the books I wanted to share with you for the Growing Up Reading book tag. Thank you, Chaz, so much for tagging me. Now, don't go away. Next, I have a clip of Hallie Christensen sharing her book, Enchanted Misadventures with Great Aunt Poppy.
Hey Danielle, thank you so much for having me. And hi everyone, my name is Hallie Christensen and I'm a children's author. And today I wanted to talk to you about my book, Enchanted Misadventures with Great Aunt Poppy, available on Amazon and everywhere books are sold. This is a spooky, fun, and adventurous middle grade fantasy about these three siblings that have to survive a holiday with their creepy Great Aunt Poppy. Aunt Poppy lives in the woods and she's got a billion cats, and the siblings are convinced that she's a witch. But for some reason, no one else believes them. But this might just be the most fun holiday they've ever had. For parents and teachers, there are also free resources available on my website. Thanks again for having me, Danielle. Happy reading, everyone.
So I would just like to thank Hallie so much for making that clip for me to include. I don't know. I just think that was a really, really cool idea that Chaz had. I read The Enchanted Misadventures with Great Aunt Poppy in July of 2021 and reviewed it and really, really enjoyed it. Groppy, as they affectionately call her, she's a character. She is a true gem, eccentric, all the witchy vibes. Loved her. And then we also have the Alexander siblings, each with a very unique personality, all their own. One of the quotes that I loved, and I know some other readers loved from Nolan, the brother, was, "Just bury me outside by the shed, and on my tombstone write the words, 'Here lies our favorite child.' We should have fed him pizza and let him stay at home." little dramatic. I think Nolan felt like he was starving at Great Aunt Groppy's or Great Aunt Poppy's because she wasn't feeding him things like pizza. This story is the perfect combination of courage, mischief, and magic. I highly, highly, highly recommend. Now, it is time for the third part of this tag. I am going to tag some fellow booktubers to do this tag as well. Guys, if I do not mention your name and you are interested in doing this tag, please do it. I in no way mean to exclude anyone. I'm just trying to get the word out about this tag. So I would like to tag Chris at Chris's Corner, Lee at Dark Roots Creation, Brittany at Brittany Loves Reading, Storm at Storm Reads, Krista at Books and Jams, Amy at Amy's Bookish Life, Natalie at Nat Cat's Bookish Cafe, Karen at Roving Reader, Kim at Expedition Through Pages, and Anna at the Book Dreamers Alley. Thank you guys so much for watching. It was really, really fun to share this part of myself with you. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave me a comment. Let me know a favorite book from your childhood. And I will see you very soon with probably my Jade Legacy vlog. Until then, bye guys.